Nearly half of Britain's young black people are jobless. Research by the Office for National Statistics found that unemployment rates for 16 to 24-year-olds from African and Caribbean backgrounds is now double the number of white job seekers. And we're sitting on an inequality time bomb, according to Labour MP Diane Abbott, who says the figures prove the recession's hitting ethnic minorities harder. Here to pick apart the stats, Nottingham entrepreneur Daniel Thomas is here, 23-year-old who set up a successful online business while studying a business college course in his teens, along with Marceline Powell from First Enterprise Business Agency, the Radford-based business support group behind the Association of Ethnic Businesses. Daniel and Marceline, welcome to BBC Radio Nottingham.
Hi.
Daniel, does the news that half of all young black people in Britain today are unemployed come as a surprise to you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know that youth unemployment is pretty poor in general throughout the country, but 50% is a staggering figure. You know, that means that half of the guys that I'm going to come into contact with in my day-to-day life probably haven't got a job, which is massive, which is a massive figure. So it's definitely surprising. What can we do? Oh, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Is it statistics that you see reflected among your peers and your friendship group?
You don't tend to think about it. I mean, I go out with a few guys all the time, but when you look at those numbers and you ask yourself, well, you know, are these guys that you're going out with unemployed? The fact of the matter is, half of them probably are. You know, my little brother's unemployed. He's 19. He's trying to get himself in an apprenticeship. I've got a good few friends that I went to college with who are still struggling to get into employment. And what's strange is, particularly many of my friends that have been to university and have gone out, you know, and have tried to sort of better themselves in their careers and so forth, even those guys were unemployed. So it's definitely a surprising and shocking figure.
Most of the people that are your age could only really dream of being the director of a successful business. What do you think it is about you that enabled you to turn that dream into a reality?
Bit of luck and lots of perseverance. I mean, it's certainly not a dream. It's you know, working hours are absolutely ridiculous, and so I'd certainly, if anybody wants to run their own business, good luck to them. It's great and it's rewarding work if it pays off in the end, but it's certainly not easy. But I don't know. I mean, I think I was blessed with you know, a unique time. I was 16, 17 when I saw the opportunity. I had no responsibility, didn't have any sort of pressure to start paying bills. You know, I didn't have to start paying a mortgage. I've got no kids or anything like that. So I'm quite lucky and fortunate in the times that I decided to set that up. Most guys who are 24, 23, whatever, are going to be going out trying to get themselves a house. They're going to be paying rent. If they're not paying rent, the parents are going to be running them down for some board. So, you know, I think I was a very fortunate and lucky time. I don't think if I was asked to do the same thing again now and start again, you know, with nothing to begin with, I'm not sure that would be possible. That's a very, very difficult thing to do.
Why?
It's hard. I mean, finance, you know, to try and start this off today in what I'm doing, selling hot tubs. There's so much competition now. There's a lot more than there was when I began. I need a lot of finance. You know, the thing is, at the time, as I said, I didn't have any responsibilities, so it was okay for me to sort of grow this over time and you know, put in a little bit. I started off with 50 quid, for example. If I to do this today, I'd need to have enough money coming in immediately to be able to cover my outgoing expenses. So I'd need a lot of finance. Finance is going to be difficult to get. You know, I think we spoke on the show before about how difficult it was for black businesses to get finance. So, you know, that's going to be a tremendously difficult thing to do. I think one of the things young folks have got to do today is be creative, and I think that's the only way you can build a business. It's the only way you can get a job in general.
Well, it's very much exactly what you did, being creative. Tell us a bit about the business you run.
Well, the business that we run, in a nutshell, we sell hot tubs throughout the UK and France. We sell them through the internet. We bring them in from China. We basically undercut everybody in price, and we try and offer the best sort of quality in terms of our websites and the content we offer on our websites, the help we give to people in terms of, you know, setting the hot tubs up and those sorts of things. And so in many ways we're sort of, I think, the best online showroom, if you like, of hot tubs in the country, and we're cheap on price, and so that helps us to get some sales.
Was that something you were passionate about whilst you were at school, hot tubs?
No. You know, I'm more passionate about business than I am the product, and I think that's another, I suppose, key for anyone that wants to go out to be an entrepreneur. You know, business itself is an activity. Business itself is the career. It's not the hot tubs, because we will go into something else eventually. You know, maybe in 10 or 15 years times we won't even be selling hot tubs. But the passion for the business, for your staff and for your customers, is key and is crucial, and that will take someone through.
Marceline here with us as well from the First Enterprise Business Agency. and the business support group behind the Association of Ethnic Businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Does the stats that nearly half of Britain's young black people are jobless come as any surprise to you, bearing in mind the work you do?
No, it doesn't come as any surprise at all. I'm actually more surprised that it's sort of been put out there and now as though it's a new issue. That surprises me much more. I would be interested to know how long the stats have looked like this. I don't think that it's just an issue about the recession. As has been said a moment ago, I think pretty much everybody is affected by the recession when it comes to employment. But we've got to look at all the other issues that affect young black males that have been highlighted in the past, that also affect their opportunities or access to employment, and then look at, the recession on top of that, and how do they compete. I think what I find most interesting is, there's mention of, does this include student figures? Okay, that's fine, and that would make a difference. But does it include the figures of young men that are coming out of, say, the prison system, mental health system and things like that, who, after coming through that are considered as available to work, but what are their actual chances in terms of getting employment and keeping employment? And as I said, you add the recession on top of that and competition for jobs. I just think that there's a real issue that has been there for some time, and the recession is really just highlighting it and perpetuating the issue.
Tell us about the work you do.
Well, we work with ethnic minority people who want to go into business of any age group, really, from 16 plus. But I find that I do see a very large number, actually, of young black males in particular that want to start business. And I would say that in terms of their attitude, they're very entrepreneurial, have great ideas for enterprise. But again, as already been mentioned, there's things like finance. A lot of these young men are coming out of education earlier than we'd want them to be, and there's so many other sort of social issues that are affecting them, and more importantly affecting their own sort of belief in their ability to be able to move forward and be successful in any particular career. And I think that's a shame. I think that comes down to motivation, and it comes down to encouraging young black men by providing resources to make sure that they can sort of follow through their dreams as well, because many of them feel as though no matter what good ideas they have, that they're not actually going to get very far when it comes to being listened to or being taken seriously in the business world, or even in the world of employment.
And is that what the people who are coming to you for help are saying?
Yes, I would say that a lot of them are. Education is a huge issue. I'd say 3 out of 5 of the young black males that I see have real issues around things like literacy and numeracy, but they have great ideas. But then, trying to get them to that point where they feel that they could still go out there and compete and, like I said, be taken seriously, it's very difficult. I see a lot of young white males as well who come in and, there are certainly issues, but most of them are quite competent with reading, writing and representing themselves, whereas a lot of the young black males feel that, and I don't want to be stereotypical and say it's all of them, because it isn't, but I would say that that's one of the key issues: education, any sort of past issues that they may have had that affect them moving forward. And we've got to look as well at the number of young black males that are coming out of school and going straight into, like I said, criminal justice system and things like that. It's disproportionate, and then we're expecting them to come into the world of work and go and secure a job. It's difficult even when you've got degrees and years of experience in work, let alone when you're already facing a number of barriers and even stereotypes that kind of go before you, really.
The news of these figures, of these stats, came out a bit of a coincidental time for you, didn't
Yes.
they? Tell us why.
Because I've just been approached by a group of young black males from Nottingham. There's about 25 of them in total. There's quite a lot of them. They've been pushing quite some time now to try and develop opportunities for themselves and for other young black men who want to find ways to get into employment or to work for themselves. They've gone to so many different places to try and get help, and feel that they're either ridiculed or not taken seriously on any level at all, or the amount of things that they're asked to the loops that they're asked to go through, it's completely alien to them. But again, some brilliant ideas. These young men are really good at representing themselves and other, their peer group. And so what I'm trying to do at the moment is encourage them to develop their own group, where they can look at income generation. It might be online businesses, it might be working in promotions or event management, but things that don't cost the earth to set up, but that can sort of give them an opportunity to start building businesses where they may be able to create employment for each other, and more importantly, to represent their own voice as well.
How can people find out more about the help and support you offer?
Well, obviously by coming along to the agency. The programmes that you just mentioned in terms of FEBA, First Enterprise and the AEB, they're all sort of AB's ongoing. The service that I offer through FIBA at the moment is up until the end of this month, so there's not much time left on that. But also there's new networks that are coming out, which we will be publicising once this group is set up to kind of encourage young men to get involved with that. So I will certainly make sure that you have the information once everything's ready to go at the end of this month.
And we'll of course share it across BBC Radio and our team. Daniel, before you go, I've asked you before and I'll ask you again, for anyone listening in this afternoon thinking, I would love to do something similar to what you've done, set up my own business, be successful, be able to pat myself on the back at the end of the day, what advice would you give?
Don't give up your day job, and then and start something small on the side and try and build it. You're either going to have a stunning and cracking idea that people want to invest into and want to put their money into, and if you don't have that, then as I say, don't give up your day job. Try it, see what happens. If it grows, it grows. I mean, entrepreneurialism, if that's the right word, is very much sort of, it ties into so many things. It ties into your experiences, it ties into your education, it ties into your sort of, what you've done at university. It ties into pretty much everything, and very much it's the key of coming up with that idea, that very unique niche that hasn't yet been sort of exploited already, and trying to get into that. So don't give up your day job and get lots of mentorship. I mean, one of the things I lack is mentorship. I didn't really have anybody sort of guide me through the process, and I sort of made lots of bad decisions down the line. And get some mentorship, get some advice, and take it from there.